Originally, this was the home of Gregorio Garcia. He was one of the founding persons here in San Elizario. And later on, after the Salt War, he donated it to the community, and it became the first schoolhouse in all of El Paso County. This was the county seat. This is where we had the first school. And the first teacher was Octaviano Larazola, who went on to become governor of New Mexico and later on senator in New Mexico, the first Hispanic senator. What we call the second Thanksgiving in the United States, the first one was in San Agustin, Florida. The second one was here in San Elizario, 1598, 23 years before the Pilgrims landed in Plymouth Rock. And this is when Juan de Oñate came over. He got a permission from the King of Spain, King Philip, to find a new route from Santa Barbara, Mexico to New Mexico, where they thought all the cities of gold were located. And then it took them 4 months to get here. Right before they arrived here, they ran out of water and they thought they were going to die. And then they saw the Rio Grande, which was really lush in those days. Lots of fish, lots of greenery, lots of trees, ducks. So they survived because of that. So you can see the vigas on top. The other room doesn't have the vigas because I think at one point they remodeled it and they took down the vigas. But yeah, it's adobe. You can see in parts where the adobe it needs to be repaired. So it belongs to the county, and we run the museum and also the jail museum. Okay, Billy the Kid's friend, his name was Melcario Segura, and then Billy the Kid heard his friend was caught gambling, cheating at poker. And in those days, if you cheat at poker, they hung you. That was a big offense. So he heard about that, so he rolled all night long. He knocked on the door in the middle of the night, and Billy the Kid spoke perfect Spanish because his family had arrived from the east and he had been raised with Hispanics in New Mexico. So, and then there were Texas Rangers that were Hispanics. So when he knocks on the jail door, they say, "Who is it?" He said, "It's Texas Rangers, I have a prisoner for you." And he spoke in perfect Spanish. So they opened the door and there's Billy the Kid with his gun. He took away their guns, he took away their keys, he let his friend out of jail, he threw the guards in there, locked him up, threw the keys on top of the roof, took off with his friend and the horse, and took off for Mexico, which is only half a mile from here. So that's the only time that we know of that Billy the Kid has broken into a jail. And actually we had a Commissioner Terán, in about 25 years ago. He got a grant, and there were a bunch of chino trees, and he threw down the chino trees, and then he replaced the sidewalks because they were falling apart. He planted grass, and then he got the people to donate money for the benches, and then they would put the plaque honoring their family on the bench. And now the tiny little trees are now gigantic trees. I mean, people come and they get married in the church, and then they take pictures in the placita. It's just a beautiful, and then the church used to have their fiestas in the placita. Now they have it on their parking lot, but yeah, it's a beautiful place. At church, they don't ring the bells anymore because the tiles were starting to fall down when you would ring the bells. So they recorded them. But they would ring the bells like at noon to let everybody know it was lunchtime. They would ring the bells when it was time for Mass. When people got married, they would ring the bells. When World War I ended, they rang the bell for hours. Because this is another thing, the people from here are very patriotic. Most of our men go off to war. My grandfather and his only brother were in World War I. My father and his only two brothers were in World War II. My brothers were in Vietnam, and my nephew was in Desert Storm. So this community is very patriotic, and if you go to the church, when you look at the back of the church, there's a bunch of names of the soldiers that served in World War II. And the ones with the little cross on them are the ones that were killed in action. The older generation is very proud of who they are, where they came from. We're trying to get the younger generations more interested. In fact, we've hired some docents that were from high school so that they can understand the history of the area and be proud of their roots. Even if they weren't originally with the original families, like we have a lot of recent immigrants in San Elizario, but we want everybody to be proud of who they are, what the community, the history of the community. You can call for a tour, or you can go online to our website, sign up for a tour, or just show up. We'll give you a tour, free. There's no charge.